side of the map, we have our yellow Terran player from the team Incredible Miracle, winner of the last game. Can he close out the series? He is.
I am YoDa.
YoDa he is.
Now, I'll say it after you do this little intro.
Okay. And we have our Protoss player from the team NSHoso. A lot of Protoss players out there have their hopes resting on this guy. He is
NSHoso Sage.
You know, you guys might have noticed in that little intro screen where we had both the players' faces, Sage made a face like he was really annoyed. It's because he messed up his sending his probes. He accidentally sent them to 2 different patches, like all 6 of them.
Oh.
And he's actually like he messed. And then he like accidentally canceled a probe.
Yeah, I think. Well, you mentioned nerves.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
He's a little bit behind. In that regard, obviously with Chrono Boost and catch up with working count.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to lose him the game or anything. But
yeah, it affected his build quite a bit. And obviously, when you start a game like that, and anyone who plays even ladders, not even pro gamers, even if you're in Bronze League, you know that if you mess up big time like that at the beginning of a game, your mentality is like, oh well, this is so frustrating from the start.
Absolutely.
It's hard to stay calm and collected after that.
You know, and there's a gas pretty quick there for YoDa as well.
Yeah, I like that YoDa's taking the gas on this map. It's pretty difficult to one-rax expand on this map. It's a 2-player map. It's easy to pressure. It's hard to kind of safely take bunkers down because there's so much area. The natural's so wide open that if you try to expand there, the Protoss can really put a lot of pressure on you.
Oh yeah, exactly. You can see Sage made his gateway very close to his Nexus, playing very defensively. That first Marine's going to pop out pretty soon and chase the probe away. And Sage really wants to know what's going on right now.
Not able to see what's going to happen next. Obviously, his probe's chased out, but he knows there's a gas taken. And when that's the case, he's got to play safe. He's got to take his own second gas.
Yep, I mean, he's making good decisions. That SCV trying to murder that pylon. And there is the factory. All right, second gas going down as well. And yeah, that Marine tank Banshee is quite strong on this map. It's a shorter distance, like you mentioned earlier. The natural is very wide open, so if the Protoss does fast expand for some reason, it's easy to get in there and siege it up if you decide to go for siege mode with it.
I think Sage is going to Void Rail in.
Yeah?
That pylon placement just gives me the Void Rail in.
I think you're right. I think there's a good chance of that. Void Rail-ins actually do pretty well against Marine tank Banshee.
It also does well on this map in general.
Yeah.
He knows there's a wall off with depots. And no, actually adding a Robo.
Oh, really? He could be going for like 1 base Colossi, I suppose. That would be something that a lot of people have said would theoretically work against the Marine tank.
Here we go. I knew he was going to use it for something. He's going to do a DT drop. He's making a Twilight Council now on the lower part of the base, and of course in the top part he has his Robo. So making them those 2 tech structures as far away from each other as possible, so that if one area gets scanned, obviously, then the other area will still be a mystery.
That makes sense. So now with the timings with that, the question is, will he be able to do enough damage before the attack from YoDa hits?
It's not going to be easy. He's already got his probe getting prepared to make the Dark Shrine. He really needs about 50 more gas. Making an Observer first, actually, so that Shrine's going to get a little bit delayed. Actually, adding 2 more gates here. Adding a 4th gate, I actually have misread this. He's not going for a DT drop. That looks to be he's going for a Blink Stalker all in with an Observer.
Oh yeah, there's Blink right away. Now this could be pretty interesting. Blink is useful as well. I mean, able to blink in and take out tanks as long as you can do it without exposing your Stalkers to too much Marine fire too.
This is going to be pretty hard to make work.
Yeah.
There are obviously maybe a lot of Marines out. He's just now getting the tech up on his factory, so he doesn't have any tanks yet. He's actually planning on doing a drop.
Oh, interesting. YoDa making a Viking actually right now, so he may be a little bit worried about the possibility of Void Rays himself.
Yeah, and rightfully so. It's a really popular build on this map. Now, he's going to try to blink up into the main, but all it takes to end that little type of shenanigan is the Observer being gone.
Yeah, he's got to be really careful with that.
The Observer sees everything. He knows it's a drop now, and if he can actually position his Stalkers to catch this, he'll be in great shape.
Yep. YoDa saw the Observer, so he kind of has an idea about what's going on here.
He might save the scan to scan and kill it. Now, if Sage actually micros correctly against the wall near those Hellions and Marines, he can pick off Marines. They don't even have stim. So this is actually going to be really good build for Sage.
It's going to be close, man. This is actually getting really tense.
This is getting tense, and it looks like he's going to go for the depots first at the front.
Oh, I like that.
I like that too.
Really punish Terran for walling off the ramp like that.
Now, if he tries to engage with his Marines, like I was saying, the Stalkers outrange them.
Yeah.
Since he has the Observer there, he can actually just pick off the units. More Stalkers coming here. YoDa is in trouble, but he does have a Siege Tank. Siege mode is started. It's going to be a while before that's done, but he's supply blocked now severely. 58 out of 43.
Killing all those pylons so quickly. And he's got to be careful about the tank there, but gets away before it takes any actual hull damage, I guess you could say.
Now, YoDa realizing what's going on, makes a tech lab on his starport. Looks like he wants to go cloak because he's like, well, I know what you're up to. Now, I'd like to see Sage. Well, actually, no, that doesn't even make sense because he knows there are observers out.
Exactly, yeah, I don't know.
So I'm not exactly sure what he's going to do with that tech
for
lab.
a point defense drone, but it's going to take way too long.
Yeah, he is making a Raven. It's an interesting choice.
Yeah, no, it takes a long time for Raven to set the energy.
It's going to take a really long time.
So I don't know why, really, but
I would have rather see him spend his gas on tanks.
All right, well, here he goes.
Blocks. He scans.
Oh, he does
one
get the observer.
But the other observer is still around.
All right. Siege mode has finished now, so that's going to make it a little bit tougher.
I love this. This is what I was going to say. I wanted Sage to take the gold base as he did this.
Oh,
because
nice.
he's got so much control with these Stalkers. You can tell he's practiced this build. He knew this is what he was doing from the start. He's making a Dark Shrine as well, which I find really odd considering that you've seen already the tech lab on the starport.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like you said. He wants to control the map. He just wants to make it very, very, very difficult for YoDa to do anything outside of his base.
And, you know, if he catches the Raven with his Blink Stalkers at all, then he can just use the DTs after that.
So yeah, essentially Sage is forcing YoDa to one base while Sage can basically expand and keep map control.
YoDa looks like he wants to do some Viking harassing, sing his Vikings around the bottom center of the map. I like that Sage just continues to poke with those Blink Stalkers, never lets YoDa feel comfortable. These Vikings have been spotted and Sage is trying to catch them here. He may actually get them. Look at this. This is beautiful by
down
Sage.
the bottom of the map.
Catches the Vikings, almost takes one out. This guy is so smart. Like, he knew where they would be without even knowing. He just knew that they existed, man. And he was like, well, I know that he's going to send his 2 Vikings at this timing, at this specific location.
It's called Star Sense. And possibly these guys play against each other a lot, too. Seems like they do. So, yeah, Sage in a great position right now.
The gold base is up. And YoDa wants to move out here. The Raven has been spotted. Again, though, he doesn't have a lot of units, and when he tries to move out, with the Blink Stalkers and come into the main, do counterattacks, they can attack and just continue to blink back and out-micro him because he doesn't have stim, he just has a bunch of no combat shields, Marines, and siege tanks.
Took some fire from the siege tanks there, has to be a little bit careful about that.
Those Marines can't fight without the siege tanks, but even so, the Stalkers can't counterattack the main while the siege tanks are there, so that's why we have this split up.
Yeah. It's just going to be really difficult for YoDa to take a second base. It's kind of it, because he's going to need to unsiege and move some of those tanks to do that.
And that's going to make him vulnerable.
Yeah, Sage will be ready for that. And Sage's gold is up right now in mining, too, so we're going to see Sage do a pretty big jump in supply here. Right now they're pretty even, but Sage should pull ahead.
Yeah, he's adding a bunch of gates. Looks like he's preparing to do a follow-up timing attack to this.
Yeah.
Making his first Dark Templar right now.
Oh, interesting. Nope, he's going to fire off a couple Marines there, and they're on hold position, so he does lose a couple. Takes a shot or two from the siege tanks. That's okay. The second is going to be really, really, really late for YoDa if he's able to actually land it at all.
Yeah, he's just now starting his command center, so he's going to have a super late command center.
Well, it's an interesting place that he decided to build that command center too, because it's at a spot where if Sage happens to move up there with his Blink Stalkers and the Observer, he'll be able to see it and possibly cause a cancel there as well. Oh, gold has been spotted by YoDa.
Yeah, he knows about it now. Charge is done for the Zealots.
Here he goes.
This is going to be a pretty scary attack from YoDa if he decides to go for it.
Yeah, oh, he canceled. He's going to bring everything.
All right, so this is going to decide the game, and actually, Sage doesn't even know about this yet.
Uh-oh.
He's actually sending his units to the other side.
Oh, no. A couple of those units.
He did make some Archons with those DTs that are going to be somewhat helpful. He does have Charged Zealots, but only 11 of them, and the Marines are going to do so much DPS. This is not going to be easy for Sage.
Yeah.
Looks like Sage is actually going to counterattack the main, but the buildings have already been lifted. They're no longer there.
Oh, yeah, he is basically all in right now. Well, not basically. He is about as all in as you can be. And everything's going to get taken out. The gold base running those probes away. So if Sage can kind of, if he can, I don't know. It's going to be tough, man.
Well, Sage does not want to engage the army of YoDa directly.
No.
He can win in a direct fight against him, but he doesn't have to. Right now he's taking the gold at the bottom right. He's going to send his probes over there and have the mine there. And eventually he's just going to have more units than YoDa because he's got so much time. It's going to take YoDa a long time to move his units around. He's going to use these zealots to engage now. I don't think this is a good idea.
Oh, that was close. It's not.
Oh, Archon targeting down some of the SCVs. I love that move.
Microing a little bit with that, softening up the SCVs. And
guess what? If he can kill the Raven, DTs will just kill everything else because there's no orbital that can use the scan. The orbital's in the corner. So all he has to do is kill the Raven, and then he can just win with DTs. And will he realize that?
Probably. He does have one DT in the army there. Looks like he's going to want to try to engage. This is going to be a little bit dangerous.
The Stalker's at the back. Force Field's actually working against the Zealots here, but the Stalker's going in. Point defense drone goes down, but he just has way too much stuff.
Beautiful move with the Stalkers coming in from behind.
And the Raven dies. The rest of the units die as well. And that is going to be it.
And NS Hoso stage living up to expectations. GG! Wow. I'm YoDa with a pretty scary push at the end there. That was looking dangerous. Sage is happy about it. You know he is. There's a lot of Protoss players out there pretty happy about it as well.
Yeah, I think basically all that YoDa could have done.
So I guess my mouse.
He's showing his Razer mouse there. All that YoDa could have done to win that fight was to win right when he pulled his SCVs at that very moment, attack. He might have had enough units at that moment to kill Sage. And Sage realized Sage's like, well, I'm not going to fight your army until I can get like 2 more rounds of Warbins, get a few Archons.
Well, he had just such great positioning there, too. I mean, coming from the Stalkers from behind like that. Yeah, just being really mobile around the map. Really well played by Sage. Yeah, absolutely. That's a difficult spot to be in, and he handled it beautifully.
I would say so myself.
Yeah, I'm glad this guy's in Code A. Seems like he's got a lot of talent.
He's got a lot of potential. We saw him, kind of lose in Game 2 to something that was a lot of his control. He went Nexus first, game. And it was just against a 1-1-1, if you will, type of build.
Yeah, you know how I feel about that. Everyone's like, it's the 1-1. It's not the 1-1-1. It's Marine Tank Banshee. 1-1-1
well, actually, in this case, it was a bunkering into Hellions into another timing attack later with Banshees coming into the main with Cloak when he didn't have a Robo. Like. But there was one barracks, one factory, and one starport. I fall out of my seat.
I know. It's a good thing there wasn't a 1-1-1-1. Otherwise, I'd be picking you up off set.
It was a Fusion Core 2, and I'm like, ah!
Yep. Well, if Protoss goes, let's see, Gateway, Robo, Starport, Twilight Council, something else?
Yeah, I don't know if that's even possible. But he did.
I don't think
he did go Gateway. Twilight Council, and of course Robo.
Yeah, that's true.
It's the Protoss 1-1-1. Is that what it means? No.
It's so OP. All right, look at the round of 16. Check it out. We've got MVP SC versus Dignitas Select. Also Slayers Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus Liquid Hero. MVP Monster versus FXO Gumiho. Startail Curious versus Dignitas Show. TSL JYP versus Startail Fruit Dealer. MVP Dream versus FXO Lucky. FXO Oz versus Startail Superstar, and Check Prime Weave versus NS Hoso Sage. So yeah, that will be a pretty cool round of 16. And you know what? I'm only counting, 5 Terrans on there. That's not so bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5 Terrans.
Yeah, 5 Terrans.
We've got 16. More Zergs than Terrans. How about that? Code A for the win, in my opinion. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, it's all great, but yeah.
Well, I'm just happy to see that we've got some good players coming in here, no matter what their races are. Mm-hmm. I actually don't discriminate.
Well, I like TVT.
There's only 5. Let's get rid of him. He's calling up his friends. He's like, we gotta take these guys out.
Hey man, I like TVT. I've said it a million times. I love Code S this season. I think it's fun, but I don't know. A lot of people have been talking about too many Terrans in the GSL. It's nice to see more of a balance. So it's good. I like that we're kind of seeing that in Code A. I think that's going to be like that in Code S and Code A, in the next couple seasons too. we're going to see it shift. It's not going to be like this forever.
I think it'll take a while, but
Yeah.
we'll see a shift. I mean, what's happening right now is Pro is making it into Code S and then just getting smacked down.
Yeah.
Because the big brothers upstairs are like, I'm sorry, you don't belong here. They're like, they actually check everyone when they come in the door. It's like, oh, you can come into Code S now. You're Protoss, and they beat him up and throw him out.
It's like the Terran-only treehouse. All right, let's take a look at the Code S matches for today. In Group C, we have MVP Keen, OGS Nada, and Slayers MMA and Nest T. That is actually going to be insane. And in Group D, we have EG Hux, Startail Virus, FXO ASD, and OGS Zenio. It's going to be insane as well, but maybe like a little bit less of insanity. You know, Group C is going to be really interesting because in AOL, in Arena of Legends, MMA just 2-0'd Nest T.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So
if you guys aren't watching AOL, you should definitely bypass and check it out.
It's going to be
so worth it.
We're going to get into our next rounds this weekend. Go watch the VODs before this weekend if you haven't watched it yet, because there are some really good games in there. And then, of course, the season will continue this coming weekend.
Yep, the story continues. The saga continues, if you will.
Man.
Yeah. And if you want to keep up to date on all your GSL news, you can definitely check out GOMTV on Twitter. It is just at GOMTV. You can find Wolf at FXO Wolf. You can find me at GoSuDoa. And just definitely check us out there as well.
Check us out on Twitter. Tweet at us. Tell us what you think about everything. Tell GOMTV what you think about them. Tell them how much you like them. Every time you mention any caster or, GOMTV, for example, if you mention Nick and Dan, call me Tasis and Artosis, of course, respectively on Twitter.
Right.
If you mention them as well, we really feel like you guys are supporting us, and it's a good feeling.
You guys are awesome.
We love to hear from you guys. I actually read every tweet I get, so if you're ever wondering, I can't reply to everyone, obviously, because I get so many, but when you guys tweet at me, I read it. You can send me personal messages.
I've seen him read Twitter. It's true.
I read it.
He's not exaggerating at all.
I've seen you read tweets, too.
I do. I read tweets as well. Yeah.
I retweet tweets that I've read sometimes.
That's right. If they're funny, you can retweet those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people out there that send us some pretty funny tweets sometimes.
Yeah, there's some really good stuff out there on Twitter, actually.
Yeah.
Shout out to Frog Socks. I like his tweets.
That's
and,
right.
Gary Oak Robotron.
Those guys have funny tweets, man.
Yeah, those guys are good. I like those guys.
We've noticed. We're like, those guys, they always tweet funny things at us.
Yeah, man, I like those guys. Yeah. Give you guys some shout outs.
Yeah. Well, Gary Oak Robotron could actually be like the best Twitter name in the history.
Yeah, that's true.
I gotta say, that's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Code S today, though. Group C, man. I mean, I'm really curious to see who comes out of that. I think Keen is kind of the underdog there in that group, but he's pretty good too. I mean, in TVT, so
yeah, we'll see if he's really Code S material or not. Yep,
that's going to be coming up in a couple hours, so you can take maybe a short nap. Go out to eat, get some late night stuff. Go to like the 24-hour Perkins or something, get a ton of pancakes. I don't know. Thanks to our sponsors again, Sony Ericsson and G-Skill, for sponsoring the GSL. It's been an interesting day.
It has been.
I liked their last match a lot, I thought.
Yeah, that was a really good match. And, we saw some earlier games today where, kind of telling of some skill levels of some players.
I think we can kind of see already who the players are in Code A this season who are going to end up doing really well. But, time will tell. You never know what's going to happen. That's all for us today for Code A. Tune in later for Code S. Again, thanks for watching. I am Doe. With me is Wolf. Have a great night, guys.
They say before you start